Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Mix Live. My name is Mike Langford. I'm a producer, engineer, mixer based in Toronto, Canada. And here on Let's Mix Live, I live stream some mix sessions in Pro Tools, start to finish, warts and all, showing you some production techniques to hopefully help you make your music sound better. Lots of different ways to get there. Not here to show you what you should do, but what you could do. Where do I get these mix sessions from? There's a website called Cambridge Music Technology. They have tons of multi-track sessions available on there for educational purposes. That's why we're here. Hopefully it's entertaining as well. But they have tons of genres on there, everything from folk all the way to metal. So if you're curious, if you're a new mixer or experienced mixer, and you're looking for some different genres to mess around in, fantastic resource. Details are below if you're watching this on YouTube. Again, it's Cambridge Music Technology, has all the sessions I've been working with on here. So let's top back into Pro Tools. A little bit of a weird time slot today. It's 4 p.m. I've been trying to do this at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or noon p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had some commitments this morning, have a commitment this evening, and I was thinking, maybe I can do 3 p.m. And then I was looking at my afternoon commitments. I was like, that's going to be cutting it too close. So I'm glad I picked 4. 4 seems to work out. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours today. Song we're working on, it is called Dune Rider. The band is called Impossible Colors with a U for any British or Canadian people out there. All I've done since last time, again, it's a psychedelic rock band. There's some details below on that as well on YouTube. All I've done since then, I've done two things. Since then. I have brought in our community here. I brought in our 1 kilohertz test tone. Time for the disclaimer. Be mindful of your listening levels. When I'm sweeping around, when I'm EQing with frequencies and stuff, be mindful and conservative of your listening levels on your headphones, your studio monitors, your speakers, or your PA line array system in your basement. You know who you are. So just be mindful of that. I brought this back in to check things on my end. The 1 kilohertz test tone. It's a wonderful sound. 3, 2, 1. Looks good over here. Sounds great over here. So I'll just go ahead and make these inactive and hidden. The other thing that I have done since the session, I'm actually going to go save as. It's a new day. And it was sounding decent. It's not the 3rd, it is the 5th. I was going to say may the 5th be with you, but that was yesterday. The other thing that I have done, I've been talking about it. I got some samples from a friend on the internet. Said, you need these. We're talking about it. It actually, long story short, it came from watching a live, like in studio performance of Tears for Fears playing Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And I was like, the snare drum's awesome. And my buddy was like, it's A&F. I hadn't heard of the drum company before. I love their drums. If anyone from A&F is watching this, if the YouTube algorithm picks this up and puts it in front of somebody that is in charge of artist relations for A&F drums. I need like 4 drums. I need a kick drum, I need a rack tom, a floor tom, and a snare drum. And I'm totally happy. They're wicked looking drums, but great sounding drums too. But he sent me some samples here. It's been so long since I brought samples into Slate Trigger 2 that I had to go online and figure out how to do that. But I was always way too late before actually starting. And today, because I didn't start at 3, I had that buffer between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I brought the samples in. So we have a few more samples here we can mess around with. So pretty stoked about that. There's some good stuff in there. So anyways, I brought the A&F samples in. So I might mess around with those a little bit, but that is all I have done since then. I didn't put the samples on. I just loaded them into Trigger because we have our other samples that are already in there. But I'm gonna have a listen through. This is part 5 working on this song. We were, well, again, not collective, but I was having a hard time with the drums on this one. And that's one of those things too, where some songs come together pretty quickly. Some songs you fight with for 80% of it and then it comes together. And other ones you might be fighting for like 95% of it until you feel like it comes together. There's just something that it's not sounding the way you want it to out of the speakers, which sounds pretty obvious. But I'm of the thought when you're mixing, you know what you have to work with, and you're trying to get the sound in your head to come out the speakers. You're not trying to get the sound in the computer to come out the speakers. You're trying to get the song in your head to come out of the speakers. And so where I thought I could get it to, I was just still struggling. And there's times when I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty good. We're kind of getting there. And then something's not right. And then it kind of, the house of cards starts to fall a little bit. So I'm curious to hear where we are today. And in my mind, I'm hoping that by another hour and a half, 2 hours, we're at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I could send this off to the band and go like, I think this sounds pretty good. If I'm not there yet, I will need to walk away and sleep on it and see about where we're going to next. So that being said too, I typically spend anywhere from 6 to 10 hours on a mix. So the idea that we're 5 into this, like we're getting closer to that 8 to 10 hours of being at it sort of thing. So that's not out of the question either. And one question I do have, or I get sometimes too, when they ask about how long do you spend on a mix, if you're working on say an EP and there's several songs, this is an EP, the idea that once you kind of get one or two of them together, a bunch of them can come together. Liz is here. How's it going, Liz? A bunch of them can come together fairly quickly because you kind of have your drum sound sorted and you have your guitar sound sorted and your vocal sound. So all these things that you can kind of template a bit of it and bring them in and then finesse it from there. So you can spend more time on that first song or two, just reeling those in and then send those to the band. They sign off on it, or the artist, they sign off on it. And then you can start templating that across a bunch of other things too. So it can really vary, but if for one-off songs, 6 to 10 hours is not out of the question. And also I take breaks often, and I highly recommend being able to listen the next day and then send your stuff off. I would rarely send anything off at the end of the day. If you feel good about it at 8 p.m., have a listen at 8 a.m. and see if there's anything else you would tweak from it. Fresh ears goes a long way. So without further ado, let's have a listen through from the top. See if there's anything else, because there was a lot of cleanup that I did on this one too. So we'll see what else is kind of there. I'm going to make some notes again. Analog note-taking. It's the only analog thing in the chain here. Everything else is in the box. So I'm going to leave my microphone on too, because I might talk through this one, because it is a longer tune. It's kind of in 3 chunks though. There's like the music-y part, like the songy song part. There's the solo section, and then there's kind of the outro. That's like, it does outro stuff. Let's say drop it in to see how things are going. Things are going good. How you doing, Liz? All right, I'm going to get listening through this. So this is Dune Rider by Impossible Colors with a U. Okay, so not too many notes. Listen, I'm great. That's great to hear. How are things where you are? It's beautiful here in Toronto today. It was beautiful yesterday too. All right, this outro is just kind of atmospheric, kind of, I don't want to say ambient, kind of shoegazery stuff going on over here. So we'll just let that kind of be its thing for now. Snare, I do want to try some of those A&F snares just because I have them now. Cymbals, there's still some boinginess to them. You saw me be pretty aggressive with this high shelf over here. Bringing that down 4 dB from 3K is pretty aggressive, but it seemed to sound better to me. So let's go with that. That was working. I would thin out the background vocals a little bit. We kind of got a vocal sound going. I don't mind the sound of the lead vocals. I really like the sound on the actual preview track that's here. But overall, like, it's not too much bugs me. And there's just the solo section with the guitars. I think it's over here around 90. Yeah, we can bring that stuff up. So there's not too much, just kind of some balancing with a few sections. Again, we just have our drums, bass, guitars, keys, and vocals. So there's not too many elements to deal with. Like 4 or 5 is usually what you want to aim for. Anything more than that, you need to, in my opinion, you need to just start putting them back in their families. Liz saying cold and drizzle there. Okay, well, hopefully what we have, you'll get it soon. Or I guess we get that after. So it'll probably be drizzly here soon. That's what it was like a few days ago. Or what was it, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday night it rained a lot. I did a little bit of a drive in the evening. And there's like that kind of rain where like you really can't see what's going on. And then with some of the transports on the highway too, there's so much. We got free car wash basically. Because I was thinking about, because there's some, like, this maybe is gross and too much information, but from driving around here, the evenings, the bugs are starting to pick up, and there was quite a few bugs on the windshield and the front of the car. And I was like, I should probably wash that soon, but I was like, it's gonna rain, so maybe the rain will just like moisten up some of the bug crust on the vehicle. But I was checking it today, and I think all the rain and all the stuff on the highway like gave it a bit of a car wash. So, you know, it saved $8. Who knows? Yeah, overall, I think it's sounding pretty good, but I want to mess around with the drums a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead here and just going to mute. I could solo my drums, but I'm just going to mute everything else just so hopefully it's a little bit easier to work with here. Our toms are not part of our main drum group. Let's go ahead and fix that. Right click on that, modify, scroll down. Pro Tools is going to spin for a second. And we'll just select those. We'll add those to our group. Overall, the drums weren't bugging me. There's some kick drum stuff that was bugging me last time. It wasn't jumping out this time. Again, I wasn't focused on it, so who knows? So there's a whole bunch of snares in here that we're not even using. So let me just go over here. It's a pretty tight snare drum sound that they have. So that one's pretty good. Did I already put that one in? I did. Oh, bronze. Okay, yeah, let's put that one in there too. So I think that one. So we're not using either of those. Pro Tools, come on. There you go. There's not too many velocities on these. I think I have like 3 or 4 on each of these. Oh, I think because the groups were on, it totally screwed that up. I think that messed it up because the groups are on. Because that happens. That happens. Give me 1 second here. Just need to do quick revert to past save here. It's always good to have your auto saves on here. Again, there's a setting somewhere in Pro Tools where like sometimes it doesn't bother me enough. Where it kind of like... Oh, while we're here, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a buzz on the line. There's some construction going on next door, so I can hear their drills going through the power lines here. I do have a pretty robust line balancer and power conditioner and voltage regulator that everything's running off of. But sometimes you just can't get around some of that. It just is what it is. So let's go back here. Go back in time 1 minute. See what's happened there. That is what today is. Nope, still sounds like trash. Okay, that's the wrong one. Not save that one. We can go back another 5 minutes. When I'm mixing, I generally have my session saves at 1 or 2 minutes. It's at 5 minutes right now. I was getting a bit of a test here to see if Pro Tools is a little bit less cranky. Because the M1 Mac Mini runs really well. But, okay, I know where we are. The M1 Mac Mini runs really well. It's been super solid that way, but there's just this spinning thing. I just don't know what it is in the settings. So the only thing that we lost so far, I just got to go back to drums here. I wanted to add our toms back in. There we go. Turn our groups back off. That way we're not grabbing everything that Trigger's trying to do. And we'll solo our snare drum. There we go. Like nothing ever happened. Band would have been freaking out. That's why I highly recommend unattended sessions. Audition on. So I liked the low one, and I liked the steel low. There we go. Pro Tools. There we go. I don't mind that. I could be lazy and just mute the subgroups. I'm on the fence between that gate on or off. Because like there's just so much cymbals, there's so much high end that comes through on it. gonna try this on this one too. That is the worst sounding snare drum. I'm aware of that. Okay, I'm gonna start curves, yeah. I don't mind that. There's like a whole drum fill there. Okay, so like everything is coming through that snare mic. It's like everything bad's coming through that snare. Just constantly fighting the drums in this one. I think I'm liking the drums better. I'm usually not running a mix bus compressor into another mix bus compressor, but I don't think we need it. Daniel's here. How's it going, Daniel? So what's the compressor on the master? I have this Impact one I was messing around with. And then there's that Chrysler Alge Nix down one I was messing with. But I think it sounded better without it. Just kind of farting around with it. And then for saturation, the J37 tape machine. Also, just so I can do this. So I like that. I think that sounded a lot better without the other mix bus one on there. Let's gotta head out. Good stuff. Gotta go. Good to see you, Liz. Hope you're doing well. There's just stuff in that room mic. Daniel saying, UAD was having a sale on the API 2500, but common sense prevailed. I haven't had any luck with that one either. It's funny because like some compressors just work for some people. They seem to clue in on it. Like LE2As, it's like I just don't find I do anything. Like not for me at least. I know they work. I know they're good, but just stuff. There's that boinginess in the cymbals. I'm fighting with that a little bit more. See if I can get anything happening. That's pretty beefy, but I don't mind it. I have a boatload of EQs all over the place trying to deal with those cymbals, but that snare's pretty dark now, but I like it. He says, and then adds some of the top end back in. I don't mind that. Okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere now. Only took us 8 hours. I took there was a little chorus modulation on the overall guitar. I think I was just being silly. Again, there's the sound of the guitars. I know what they're going for. It's not my favorite. Dale says, drums sound good. This is what some kind of 70s proggy exploration. It works. Well, yeah, definitely. Well, not like I say that confidently, definitely, but like the preview sounds pretty good. I wanted to thin that out. Just because of what's going on here. We'll just do a little bit of that. You can just copy and paste your presets on there as well. It's hard with the guitars too, because if it's the same performance, you can just pan them hard left and right, or like 80% left and right, and it sounds pretty good. But because there's enough variation, it really sounds like two guitars. Okay, I'm liking the drums more now. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, yeah, this sounds better to me. All right, progress. Progress is good. I'm going to hop out of the headphones for a minute. I'm just going to listen on my speakers and make a couple of decisions. Be right back. I'm going to mute this. Best practice.
it's all for you. Hear my words, it knows your mind, it's all for me. Sitting in your sofa, reading books about love and peace. Answer lies within your mind, so read outside.
Okay, try that again. Sometimes you gotta unmute your microphone so people can hear you. But if I have the microphone open and speakers are going, it is chaos. I'm liking it overall. I've been listening on my NS10s and also have a little USB Alta Lansing speaker here. I usually just use for referencing kick, snare, and vocal levels and just kind of everything in between. I think a lot of it's coming together for me. It sounded pretty good. But one thing that's jumping out here is the amount of hiss on this guitar here. I can't hear it in my headphones as well as I can hear it on my speakers. So I'm just going to do the thing I said I was going to do. I'm going to talk over this with my speakers going, but it's just this section in here. There's a lot of hiss. So one of the things we can do here, just going to rearrange my desk. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So right now it's just .c, so that's our comp track. So usually when I do any denoising or any restorative stuff, I use Z for that. T I use for timing and tuning. But one of the things we can do here, that sounds like a pretty good sample there. So I'm going to go ahead and on this track, I have a trackball and I'm really bad driver today. I need to clean this thing. Noise reduction, Isotope RX8, I still use that. I think 9's out. Actually, knowing me, they probably have 17 out and I just haven't noticed. But just denoise, we can get in there If I can read. Where is it? There it is. Spectral denoise. Spectral denoise does not start with D. It starts with S. So what we can do is bring this up, and we just have to, like with Melodyne, where we need to load it in, we just need to load in a sample of the sound we want to get rid of. So bypass. That's the sound we're trying to get rid of. Hopefully you can hear it. I'm just checking my levels over here. Hopefully you can hear it. But what we want to do is just hit learn. And it'll kind of bring the sound in there that we want to get rid of. I'm going to hit play. Didn't grab enough of a sample there. Just give us a second. That might be better. So we can get rid of quite a bit. Maybe we'll clean it up a little bit. It's going to bring these back on here just to hear what it sounds like. So to me, that cleans up quite a bit. So what we can do now, because we've duplicated this playlist here. So one thing we can do, the other part sounded okay. Oh, and there's a buzz on there too. Let's have a listen. Not going to worry about that one as much as the noise over here. So I'm going to double click that just to highlight that track there. What we can do is copy settings, and we can go into audio suite because this is up there as well. It's making sure my microphone's still on. Spectral denoise, and we can paste this setting here. And so instead of having to commit that track or consolidate that track or bounce down that track, we can just put it on audio suite. And because we've duplicated this this playlist here, we can just hit render, and that'll do what this was doing because we just committed it to it. So we can hit Control and Command and make that inactive now. Old one. New one. Pro Tools. So quite a bit of the noise. Again, I couldn't hear it in my headphones because of how my mixer's all set up and everything. But overall, I think that's a big improvement. Getting that noise down. Okay, there's a lot going on there. So listen to this outro bit. See if I bunged it all up when I was just recklessly copying over some session or some the parameters here for some of these. Probably just throw some delays on those. It's almost like they're mocking me. Because the whole song I was fighting with cymbals, and it's like, we're just going to end with 3 minutes of cymbals. I know, I'm just going in EQing stuff that's not even happening. Getting an extra amount of spinny wheels today. There's some vocally stuff there too. They might just do a fade out on this. I know I have the reference track there, but speaking of, I think it's about that time. Like overall, like I'm definitely happier with where it is now versus where it was 1 or 2 sessions ago. There's just a lot of things, but I liked things about the reference track. So I'm gonna do the thing that I think I forgot to do this a couple mixes ago too. I can't remember which one it was. But now this is the part of the show where I try to remember which output. I really should name the bus for my other outputs here. Nope. My old system was easy because I knew that it was 1718 output. But with the Scarlett I'm using now. Okay, that's not even telling me now. Because I have Scarlett, and then I also have a Rosetta 200 still hooked up to it. And that's just not showing up now. I've been going back and forth with school and other systems and stuff, and using my laptop for some rehearsals. So it's like there's a few things that have just been all over the map. I'm going back and forth, and then it wants to change the I/O. It's on. I know it's not that. There we go. Found it. There's things I like about this a lot. So I'm going to do the thing that sometimes you're nervous about, but I would highly recommend it. The band gives you a preview or a reference track or something like that. Do your mix, get it to where you think it's sounding good, and then, well, first off, make some notes from that reference, just if there's anything that's jumping out, like the vocal effects and stuff that were there. But then have a listen later on where you're thinking it sounded pretty good, just to make sure you're not missing anything that they thought was sounding good. So be right back. Just gonna listen to out of the headphones on speakers for a little bit. Be right back. All right, I got to line up where their song is starting and where our song is starting. Also, they didn't do the count in either. So just give me a second here. Okay. So overall, I'm happy with quite a few things. So is A being back between the reference that came with this multi-track and where my mix / our mix was. Hopping in at the end here. Well, one of the things I did notice on their mix, their guitars are a little bit more mono. I think maybe the keys were mono as well. Like it just didn't seem as wide, but I think the guitars were a little bit more mono. So I brought those in. I think it was sounding a bit better as well. But one of the things at the end, that vocal at the end, this one, you know. So all I did is just duplicated the track, and then that gives me just another volume so I can mute my speakers when I have my headphones on. And also it gives more access to our effects here if we want to do anything else to it. Thin this out a little bit. And there was a lot of hiss on something. I just want to check what it is. I don't know. Not hearing it anymore. Maybe I'll hear it again later, but that was one thing. And then also on the cymbals down here, there was like a really long cymbal-y hangover here. I think it was this. Because I listened to the reference. This little cymbal swell here. Because it just keeps going. It is full send. It stopped on my end. So this is one of those times, because I tell students in class, the only absolute is there are no absolutes. I'm sure I did not come up with that, but no. The thing I tell them is like 99% of the time, there's kind of a way to go about doing things. And then there's that little 1% of the time that you change it. I highly recommend if you're running delays and reverbs, run them in parallel. Use an aux, bus it over to another channel that has your reverb or delay on it, and then mix to taste. I treat it like a spice. So the idea with our cymbals here, because that's got a big send on it, and when we're talking about series, effects in series, we want to change the sound. So EQ, we have our original signal. EQ, we change the sound. Compression, original signal, change the sound. Parallel compression, I know there's the asterisk beside that as well. But anyways, we want to change the sound of the cymbal here. So this is one of those rare cases where I would say, yeah, go ahead and put your delay right on that track. We might as well. We're changing the sound. We're kind of creating a new sound on this channel here. So shouldn't do that. Let's put 60 on there. 60 for feedback. Is that enough? I don't know. Just clip gain that up a little bit. I don't think that's enough yet. Let's go for 80. That sounded like a thing. Probably put some modulation on there as well. Some slow phaser. But like the slow version. There you go. So again, we're changing the sound up quite a bit here. And so now it's just hanging over. And their bass was a lot lower than mine. But I was treating it kind of like a heartbeat. So, okay, what we're going to do as well here, I'm just going to copy these over. So we kind of have two of these going. We'll see what happens. I guess we'll hear what happens. We are in another world right now. If this song was like 17 minutes long and the band played it live, that's one of those things where like, this is where we need to end up. We need to end up off the planet or on another planet. I like their blend of everything on the reference. We can do one of these too, I think. I'm in that zone right now. That's where we should be. All is forgiven right now for the headache and heartache I went through trying to figure out the symbols on this song. All right. Time's at 5:20. We're doing good. I'm feeling better. I kind of came into things today being like, I hope I can sort this out. Because like I was not, I think it was part 3. I was like not feeling great at it at the end of the day, in the morning, and like better part of the afternoon. I don't think people should hold a grudge, but like I took part of that with me through the day. It's hard for me to leave work at work sometimes. I'm just gonna put some automation on these symbols here. Is it gonna do anything? I don't know, but just gonna have a listen here. Actually, I'm gonna do that. Just a little bit of wiggle on that just to see what it does. So you can see there, it's bringing it over to 50%. Daniel says, gotta love a 2-minute soundscaping outro. Hey, you know what? If you can get away with it, I'm all for it. I'm all for bands doing stuff. And they're just like, this is what we do. And it's up to everybody else if they want to come along for the journey. Just add a little bit of wiggle at the end here. Just thinking on our keys that are there too. These roads that are here. Maybe even just one of them. We can do something here. Because they're both stereo. I just left them in stereo. It was fine. Let's put a little bit of wiggle on those ones too. I'm running them a little bit longer just because I really should put a little bit of fade out on it. I was wondering why that one was there. It's because I made one a little bit more mono than the other one. Or just more up the center than the other one. So that's how quickly you can be working on something in mix. You're like, I don't even know why I did that. I don't know. All right. Where are we at here? Looks good. Just put that back here the old-fashioned way. All right, let's see where we're at here. No tracks able to record. Oh, because I hit everything. It's pretty full there. That's okay with me. Such a good drum fill at the end. It's tasty. So why not put more reverb on it? Yes, I do have, for anyone that's wondering, because I'm sure someone is at some point, I do have delay on the bass. That's another one of those things of why would you do that? But it kind of added something to it for me, so. Come on, button. Come on, Pro Tools. little bit of movement, a little bit of stuff going on there. Bass is up a little bit. I'm okay with it. There's a little bit of crunch from, I think, the saturation. I'm okay with it. It's one of those things I listen to in the morning, see if I'm still okay with it. And Golfos, like usual, doing whatever it does and cranking the high end on me. I promise, my hearing, I think, is pretty good. According to the audiologist. I haven't been in a few years because of everything that's happened the last few years. But Golfos is usually cranking the high end on me, and it does open up some air to the mix sort of thing. But I know that I do cut a lot of frequencies in that 2 to 4K range. I find it just helps it make it louder for me. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to have one more listen through from the top and see where we're at. And again, when you think it sounded good, one of my things I do is, well, I have a hotkey made for it, but do save as. So again, my naming convention here, that way I can keep making different versions of what's going on here. Because again, should it start sounding worse to you, you can always go back in time. And then one of the tricks too, if you're sending out different drafts to the band or the artist, you can always have a nice, neatly detailed file name for them. So if they like something from one draft and something from another draft, then you can kind of mix and match and bring stuff in. So be right back. I'm just going to listen to my speakers because it's fun. Oh, last thing, I should actually fade this out somewhat, kind of properly-ish. We'll see how that sounds. All right, be right back. Okay, that was an adventure. That was a journey. I'm glad we could all share that together. Yeah, overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling a lot better again than I did a couple parts ago, and especially, well, yeah, I think it was part 3. I think part 3 I was bummed out. It's just like I'm not sure I can get the drums doing the thing that I want to do. I'm happy I can live with what they're doing now. I do think that A&F snare sample helped kind of pull things together. And what else? There's something else I did. I think just bringing the snare down all together and then doing that high shelf on the overhead, so a pretty aggressive high shelf. Excuse me, I think it was like 4.5 dB down at like 3K or something, like something that's pretty aggressive in my books. Book's pretty short, big font, but yeah, I think that helped. And what was the other thing? I think just fussing around on the main mix bus as well, taking that CLA mix down that off. It is good. I've had some success with it when I've just been kind of farting around, but I think it was just adding too much. There's just too many hammers when it comes to mix bus compression and stuff. So taking that off to kind of reeling some of that stuff back, I think helped. At the very end here, I did something similar like what I did with the vocals, where you just duplicate the track quickly. Not like it's a race or anything like that, but I saw that the bass stuff here was a little bit loud and it's a little too thumpy over here. And I know if it's thumpy on the NS10s, it's probably bonkers everywhere else on the planet. So I just duplicated the bass track, and then that gives us another, and then, Pro Tools. Duplicated the bass track, and then just copy and paste down and then mute the other one. So this gives us access to all the plugins the whole chain we had for the bass here. But instead of having to automate stuff, I try to be energy efficient, aka brackets lazy. But I try to be energy efficient about it. So if I just need to move the volume down and make a EQ change, I'd rather just put it on another channel and mess with it. So that's what we did there on that one. So you could bring the volume down, and then I just put a little bit more of a high pass on there just to thin it out just a tiny bit. I thought it was sounding good though. I'm happy with this one. I feel like I'm happy and relieved with this one, because I was really wondering about some of the sources that were here, but I'm liking it. And then I really like the vibe of the preview. The preview is scrappy, but that's what bands sound like, sort of thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. So it's going to Shift Command U, Shift Command B, stuff on the clipboard. That's okay. Don't need that. And as always, save copy in. Hopefully this goes where it should. Of course it did not. Where are we going here? We're going to... They just have 2 drives hooked up. Temp back up. Over here. And again, I just say BU and then underscore to do the backup on it. I do full backups. Again, I highly recommend other people do full backups too. You don't need to get creative. You do not need to reinvent that wheel of doing backups. Make sure you save your work. If you don't have it in at least 2 places, you may not have it at all. It usually has to happen once or you lose your work. And it happened not to me, to one of the students, last semester term. And I said, you know what? The thing is, it usually happens once, and it's better it happens to your own work, because there's nothing worse than losing a client's files, project, days worth of work. Because I've experienced that, and I would say it wasn't my fault. It's one of the things, my backups were not as good as they should have been. Always carry your backups with you, because you never know what other people are going to do when they start touching computers. It's all good. It was one of those things where like it happened, and you start moving on from there. But anyways, I really enjoyed working on this track. It was a challenge for me. I love the genre. I love this psychedelic kind of stonery rock stuff, vintagey stuff. I think it's great. I love effects. I love distortion. I love saturation. Love drums. Love guitars. All of that stuff is in my wheelhouse. So appreciate. This is from a viewer. I sent this one in. Again, found this on Cambridge Music Technology website. Went through some stuff, and they were like, "Hey, what about this one?" And I was like, "Hey, I think that's actually a pretty good song to work on." So I'm glad it worked out. It sounded good to me. I know they're not in the chat right now because I started a little bit early today, but hopefully they can check this out later. And appreciate it again. Don. Appreciate it for pushing this one through. Again, I have my short list of songs I want to work on. I had to move this one up because I was like, yeah, let's get to it. Again, the song we were working on today called Dune Rider. Band is called Impossible Colors with the U. That's the last time I'm going to make that joke. So I think we're good. I'm good to sign off on this. And again, if I was to send this out to a band or the artist, I would have a listen in the morning, make sure there's anything else that's jumping out at me. And I still always, and there's some mixed opinions on this, I always leave room for the band or artist to have feedback. I can feel good about it, but I'm not holding my views and ego so high up that it's like, okay, what I say goes. If they want to put it in the weeds, that's fine. I'll just let them know that I'm not available for the next mix. But it's one of those things where like I feel good about it, but I always listen in the morning because fresh ears is going to be good if there's anything that's a bit bonkers going on. So, all right, I'll quit rambling here. Thanks for hanging out today, Daniel. Thanks for hanging out, Liz. Good to see you as always. And yeah, again, my name is Mike Langford, producer, engineer, mixer based in Toronto, Canada. This has been Let's Mix Live, where I live stream some mix sessions, start to finish, warts and all, showing you some production techniques to hopefully help you make your music and your mixes sound better. There's lots of different ways to get there. Not here to show you what you should do, but what you could do. I just missed the outro and the music I was trying to chase that. All right, thanks for watching. Again, I'll be here aiming for Monday and Thursday, either 12 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Schedule is all over the place these days, but you just make it work. All right, have a good rest of your night, everybody. Go, Leafs, go. Talk to you later.